The Giants' pass rush showed up and showed out in a must-win game against the Chargers week 4. I believe it was their best game of the season statistically. They generated pressure on 47.7% of Justin Herbert's dropbacks. It's almost half of his dropbacks, y'all. Rookie Abdul Carter led the way with 8. Spider-Man Brian Burns had 6, and Kayvon Thibodeau had 6. Check this out. According to Next Gen Stats, the big three combined for 20 total quarterback pressures, along with 12 quarterback hits and 2 sacks. So let's break down how these dudes cause absolute havoc and set the tone for the rest of the season and this week's Big Blue Film Breakdown. Let's have some fun with this one because Shane Bowen was in his bag with the usage of his big 3 plus Dex. Obviously, Dex had the pick, got down to the 2-3 yard line, but in terms of running 2-man twists or a guy winning his one-on-one, the big 3 and Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter were having themselves. It was free lunch. It was free lunch on those Chargers tackles and offensive linemen. I'll show you guys what I mean. You heard the stats, but let's look at it. This one was Kayvon. 2nd and long, earning the right to rush. You got dime package in the game. Let's watch Kayvon retrace. Boom, sack his college teammate. Let's go back. Watch it here. Break it down. Even though it wasn't a sack where he just absolutely beat the man, whatever. These are the situations the Giants' defense is built to be in. 2nd and long situations, 3rd and long situations, passing downs to where you can use your big 3. Brian Burns isn't even in the game at this point right now. This is 3rd-round pick Darius Alexander, Big Dex, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau. So being able to rotate on the edge here, having a 3-man rotation like that is huge for the Giants. All right, so watch this. There's 2 people I want you to watch. Obviously, Darius Alexander here, slip through, get some sort of pressure, but Kayvon as well. We're going to break it from the tight angle. Better if we watch it from the tight. All right, going to have Dex, Abdul coming up one-on-one, on his one-on-one. They got a tight end fullback play right here in this kind of cut formation. Close to about 4 yards away from the tackle here, Kayvon. All right, let's watch this right side. Kayvon with his one-on-one seems to go inside on the bull rush. Darius Alexander, same thing, kind of picking a shoulder and trying to run through it. Dexter Lawrence is getting doubled because Dexter Lawrence gets doubled. Abdul Carter has earned the respect to get chipped before the one-on-one. And the back's going to get out here. But we'll continue to watch this side. So now he comes off. This left guard comes off of Darius and goes to help out with Kayvon with the inside move. Now this allows Darius to get skinny and create some sort of pressure here. It's nothing that makes Justin Herbert take off or take his eyes down from the field, but it's enough. He feels that pressure. There's a left hand that's in there. And he sees a lane. It's a lane. Watch Kayvon retrace his steps for the sack. Abdul off the chip, wins to the inside. Dexter getting some pressure here, trying to collapse from the inside or create pressure from the interior here. But he still has what we could still call a clean pocket. Kayvon with the retrace. Closed fast. Look how Kayvon puts that right foot in the ground, swims, gets underneath the tackle, and retraces to beat Justin Herbert to the spot for a sack. It's that wrestling. You remember how Kayvon talked about doing wrestling or taking wrestling in the offseason. This is a good wrap. This is a good football tackle right here. Wrap and roll. Wrap, roll. Bring him down. Kayvon, 2.5 sacks on the season, having himself a strong start to a contract year. All right, this time, I want you guys to watch Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence and how Shane Bowen calls a 2-man stunt for these two. twist, two-man stunt. Just watch the game that he's able to play and how these two, over 90 overalls in Madden, play ball together. Basketball, football. Watch this, how I break this down. And then Abdul Carter here. We've got Kayvon there. I think maybe that's Bobby Okereke there. So you got three linemen. I mean, 1, 2, 3. You got four defensive linemen or edge rushers, and there's Dex. There goes your four horsemen right there. Let's watch the play. Bobby Okereke. Did you see how clean and how fast Brian Burns got in there to apply the pressure on Justin Herbert? Let's go back. But it caused the panic. The pressure caused the panic, which caused the pick. Drew Phillips, another P in there. Phillips gets the pick, the interception. But we'll watch this here. Watch how we get this T-E being an N. He's not playing in here. He's coming in like he's that Micah McFadden, like he's some sort of linebacker. But this is still an edge rusher standing up in the B gap. You've seen them do it with Abdul Carter. Now it's Brian Burns, the one who's standing up in this B gap to rush, and Abdul Carter goes from the side. So it's a luxury being able to have these three pass rushers and a D lineman, an interior D lineman like Dexter Lawrence. But watch right here. Dex goes high. Brian Burns now twists to the backside, to that backside A gap to apply pressure. You got to see this from the tight. This one, sorry to skip your pick here, Drewski. But this is all about the pass rush on this one. You see here, Brian Burns talking about some Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Man, Darth Vader type stuff. But now you see Dexter Lawrence here in the A gap. Brian Burns lined up here in the B gap. Same thing with Bobby Okereke here. Watch at the snap of this football. Dexter Lawrence gets engaged, draws the double team, pulls the center from his spot. Bobby Okereke now attacks at this left guard so he doesn't come off and loop back to the inside to help out with Brian Burns looping back into this backside A gap in between this center and this guard. Watch this. Look at the pressure applied. You need to go back and watch that. This is athletic right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is 6'5 and a half, 6'6", 250, 260. Coming skinny and wrapping around the edge like he Jalen Brunson coming off the screen attacking basket. This is why this kid is having an all-pro season. And this is why that is one of the biggest trades. This is the best trade for Joe Shane, the Brian Burns trade. Let's watch it one more time. Shane Bowen is now being creative and moving guys around in spots to rush the passer. And on top of that, he's finding ways to stunt with different guys, using one guy to apply the pressure in the double team and using the athleticism of the other guy to loop and get after the quarterback. Put his foot in the ground and he gets that burst. It's that same burst that we've seen all throughout preseason, all throughout training camps, joint practices. Kid is having himself a season. That pressure led to a pick, which led to points. This time, again, pick another guy. We saw Kayvon make a play. We saw Dexter Lawrence be selfless and take on and draw a double team for Brian Burns to make a play. Now it's the third pick of the draft, Abdul Carter, who's starting to come along. Now it's his turn to make a play and win his one-on-one. We don't even need that long on this rep. Look how fast he beats him to create the pressure and bad throw. Good defense again, Drew Phillips. Look at the one-on-one. This is why you get him 3rd overall. This is why I'm happy that Travis Hunter went to the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 2. So there was no indecisiveness or indecision when it came to drafting Abdul Carter with the 3rd pick of the draft. And right now, if you think about it, with Travis Hunter and Cam Ward, the way they're playing, Abdul Carter, you could say he and Travis Hunter are playing like they're the 1st pick in the draft right now. Travis is doing some great things, but look at that. This is what you draft this kid for. Leave him one-on-one. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 staying in to block 4. So if there's 6 on 4, you know there's 2 double teams. The rest are one-on-ones. Whoever has that one-on-one going to have to win their one-on-one. And he won his one-on-one. Applied the pressure. Drewski gets the pass break up. Don't worry, young man. This is going to be a sack as you continue to go and grow in this NFL. Let's watch it from the tight, because the wide doesn't do it justice. Everybody, this is what you want out of this front 4. They weren't able to get, I think the Dallas game, we wanted them to do more. They're still able to get sacks. The Washington game, they were trying to figure out how to play together. Shane Bowen, how to use them. The Chiefs game, they play a little bit better, apply a little bit more pressure. This has been their best game statistically and with the eye test for the start of this season. Going to have to be able to do this down in New Orleans. You get a defensive line like this to go after Philadelphia Eagles. Got the Broncos coming up. I just watched it one more time. Just how he's able to use his athleticism to beat this setting tackle and win his one-on-one. Again, this Giants defense is built to apply pressure and try and drop as many as you can in coverage. Can you get 7 back there? Is there times they're going to be able to rush 3 and drop 8, double a guy or 2? Being able to have the luxury of having 3 highly skilled edge rushers and an interior lineman like a Dexter Lawrence is a luxury. Now, if this Darius Alexander kid or Nacho or Jordan Rowley, one of those guys can step up, grow to be a force as that second interior D lineman that's able to apply pressure like Darius Alexander kind of put on tape earlier, that's going to be an even bigger luxury, because now how do you affect the quarterback the fastest, the quickest? Interior pressure. Leaves other guys one-on-one. Again, earlier we saw Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence run the stunt with Brian Burns over top of the B-gap. Now he's back in that traditional edge rusher technique. Kayvon off to the right side. Now I believe this is Abdul Carter right here standing up. And then Bobby Okereke over top of the center. Big moment. 3rd down. Got to get off the field. Who steps up and makes their coach right, makes the call right? Brian Burns. On offense, when it's big moments, you say players over plays. Same thing. You want to set something up for Brian Burns to win this rep. There he is. It's that same stunt, pretty much that same stunt, but this time he's on the defensive line. He's on the edge. Let's watch Dex again. Dexter Lawrence gets the most double teams in the NFL. You see him taking his man. You have to pay attention right here. If wherever he goes, his man has to set with him and get hands on. Look at him taking 2 guys, and he hangs on for way too long. Now, if he comes off here, Dex is athletic enough to slip to the inside, kind of like Darius Alexander did earlier on that Kayvon sack. But if you overset as a guard away from Brian Burns and you give this guy any sort of lane, again, it's like the Knicks running two-man pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, and he's going to attack the hoop. Earlier, you saw Bobby Okereke attack the guard so he doesn't come off and find work and help the center who had to help out over here. Or the center's right here so he can't come off. So it's the same, it's pretty much that same stunt. Shane Bowen is calling that same stunt with Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. But instead of him being stood up over the B gap, he's over here towards the out, he's on the edge. So now Bobby Okereke, instead of trying to influence the guard, he influenced the center because they're running this stunt on the guard and the tackle this time. Play needs to be made. Call Spider-Man. Place went crazy. I was on the field. I was way up there in the sideline. I was over here on the Giants sideline at this point. But the place went crazy. Look at that. That athleticism, that burst. We've seen it before. This is what he does. Now they put it on tape. Teams are going to want to try and scheme this up. But if you're trying to pay attention and set here, and you're trying to pay, if now when teams are looking at it like, okay, Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence are on the same side, you may get oversets. And now Shane Bowen's going to have the luxury of running something from the backside. Either way, it's going to be interesting. Look at this pocket. Look at this pocket. He's beat. That's one of those yell back. That's a lookout block. You yelling to the quarterback, look out. And now you send the blitz off the edge to keep that contained too. Didn't even need it. Burns had it. But in the future, you're going to want to keep that quarterback contained to turn him back into all that pressure. But you're able to see Shane Bowen in this Giants defense with the win over the Chargers offensive line. And I know those guys are down, some guys, but hey, this is, you play against whoever is up against you. Now it's on to the Saints, it's on to the Eagles, it's on to the Broncos, and the Eagles again. This Giants defensive line and pass rush is definitely going to have to continue to lead the way. Thank you all for watching this week's Blue Rush Film Breakdown.